You are now listening to the MVP podcast where we explore the business of sports. My name is Courtney.
And I'm Jimmy.
And on this episode, we spoke to Kwaku Boateng, who was at one point in time the highest paid non-quarterback in the whole CFL. And he broke down why he was able to walk away from the game without blinking twice. And he gave us a blueprint for how he's building his empire now. That includes managing players, teaching them about finance, investing in real estate, and how that empire even began. So this one, stacked full of gems. You're not going to want to miss this episode. So buckle up, sit back, and enjoy this one.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he shared how much he made with us. That was very surprising. So, guys, enjoy the episode. Hit that subscribe button. If you're on YouTube, it's absolutely free. We bring you these gems weekly. So hit the subscribe button. And if you're on Spotify, give us a 5-star rating or give us any rating. Let us know your honest thoughts. But please do subscribe and please do leave a rating. Without further ado, here's our episode with Kwaku.
We can take this in so many ways, but obviously a student of the game, when you came into the CFL, you're drafted in the 5th round and you ended up having a high impact career. I know you say you were able to play with confidence and whatnot because of how you prepared, but you went from being a 5th round draft pick to one of the highest paid D linemen in the entire CFL. What's the most money that you made in one season in the CFL?
It would be just over 200,000. And if you include some of the incentives, that was 205 hard money is what we call it in CFL, and then the rest is incentives. So I think I had incentives about like anywhere from like 20 to 50K additional, whether that's like stuff like, like getting a MVP award or getting a divisional award or leading team sacks, those additional incentives. But as long as I just showed up into the office every day, I was guaranteed our hard money was 205.
And that's one hell of a reward for being a great student. Obviously, they didn't just give that to you as a rookie. When you came in as a rookie, I always laughed with Stavros Katsantonis when we spoke. I said, when I came in, the rookie salary was like 45, 46,000. I'm sure it wasn't too much different when you came in as a rookie, probably somewhere in the 50s, right?
Yeah. It was 50. It was 53. And funny enough, when I was coming out of university, I was ranked number 2 in the scouting bureau. The person above me was a Mississippi State O-lineman. And then during that combine time, I was stuck between we're talking about student athlete, 2 different ambitions. And it was a conversation of whether I wanted to go finish my co-op program at Laurier, which I got an opportunity to work at PwC, which is top 4 accounting firm in the world. And I was like, that's always what I wanted to go into. That's why I'm in my BBA program. That's why I'm in accounting and finance, going to the capsules for CPA. But at the same time, I'm getting invited to the national combine. So I was like, hey, well, no, like, again, if you lost an example where I'm like trying to build these foundations, so my next step is seamless. I'm like, no, I gotta fight through this. So I was stubborn, and I decided to do both those things. And I'm waking up at 4 a.m. in the household of university kids. So they're waking up they're going out on Wednesday night, Tuesday night, doesn't really matter, causing a ruckus in the crib. I'm still waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning, going to work out, trying my best to stay on some type of combine regime, hopping on a bus for like 7 a.m. so I can go to my client's office to audit them. And then long story short, I go to combine, I don't do as well as I'm supposed to. And that's the one time I found a clash between being a student athlete, like truly trying to be the highest form of both a student and athlete. That's when that clashed. So I told my agent at the time, and he was like, yo, we got to do a 3-year deal. And I'm like, no. He's like, that's a new standard. It's coming up. I'm like, no, I don't care. Like, I know why I felt. Like, I went from 2nd overall to Scudder Bureau to getting drafted 41st. No, I'm calling cap. I'm like, no, I'm going to bet on myself. Let's force their hand and say, yo, Quake's only come in if we do a 2-year deal. So that's a 1-year deal with the option. And at that time, now it's fixed. Like the new CBA says, nah, like it's 3 years period. It's 2 years to the option. At that time, they were like, it was it was a rule, but it wasn't like fixed, right? And I was just like, no, it's always not. We're doing a 1-on-1. That's what we're doing. And he's like, bro, you got a year to show that you're worth something. I'm like, yep, I don't need that much, right? And then at that time, it was like, yeah, like you said, it was for me, it was 53K, and then my second year option was like 53,500. It was something small, and then I was like, no, I'm just gonna find a way to push through it. And that's kind of how Sack Track kind of formulated, because every game I write on my wrist tape as these guys are punching me in the face, like servants and like all these tough old linemen are just punching me in the face. I'm just looking at my wrist tape that says Sacks for X on it, just to encourage me to say, yo, quick, you got to push through this. Like, you got to win. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as much as I want to go back to that accounting firm, I'm like, no, they disrespected me, but it's partially my fault. But I got to remind them who I am. So I got to also remind me who I am by just writing the Sack Fox on my wrist tape. And that just kind of encouraged me to get to the point where I broke that rookie contract to sophomore contract record in the CFL. And then I was the highest paid non-quarterback for 2 years in a row.
Sacks for racks, indeed. And we're definitely going to get real deep into sacks for racks, but I never knew that background story. I just can't brush past this though. Like, not everybody gets an opportunity to work for PwC. So how do you manage getting to the point where you have an opportunity? And I mean, I'm not saying necessarily like what was your study habits and whatnot, but just like your mindset and your approach to life. They say greatness can't be confined to one domain, and how you do anything is how you do everything. But like, you had to be in the top whatever percentile of students in a business undergrad to get in PwC. And then at the same time to also be one of the top athletes in the country. What do you credit that to?
To be honest, my family didn't grow up with much money. So like, I just see my family hustle. And over time, like my dad is a hustler. Like my dad he's able to work hard. And he's always encouraged me I see him working hard, but he always told me to work smart, not hard. And for me to see them struggle and for the conversation to always be about money, even when I'm a kid and we're moving from place to place in the Mississauga, Toronto area, until we found a stable job in Milton, until I was in high school. But seeing that as a young man, I was like, as a young boy, sorry, I was like, okay, when I get older, I'm not gonna be broke. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna hustle, I'm gonna find a way. You know what I mean? Like my parents probably, my mom probably upset with this one, but this one time we went to like an African function, we got in a function, and we're going to the crib, and this crib has like hardwood floors, nice ass kitchen, net, all that. I get back to the art crib, I'm like, Mom, Dad, why don't we got what they got? Why don't we got hardwood floor? Like, what were we doing with this carpet? You know what I'm saying? So for me, like from a youngin', I was like, yo, like, okay, like I see my dad hustling, and every time my dad's grinding, I said we slowly get better and better in life. We slowly climb that ladder, right? And I'm like, okay, well, whoa, there's definitely the more you input, the more you output. And I never really understood what he meant by work smart, not hard, until I got older. And as I get older, I start realizing a lot of people just run around with their heads covered. They're just doing busy work. And as I get older, it's about being busy, yes, but it's okay with just chilling if you got opportunity to chill. It's more so about finding the right avenues to direct your energy towards. To direct your energy towards domains that are going to profit you enough. So it's like, I don't got to work 10 hours to make $100, let's say. You know what I mean? I can just work to complete a job that might take me an hour or two, but once I complete, I'm gonna get that $100. All other people are kind of busy. You say, okay, well, I'm just gonna run around. I'm just gonna be busy, so because I want to work hard. No, as I get older, I realize you don't want to really work hard if you don't have to. You want to find avenues where you can look like you're working hard, but you're really just working smart and getting paid, if not the same, if not more. So to answer your question, I think it just stems from my family, like just seeing them struggle from the get-go. Seeing the progress that they got to by working hard, and with a sprinkle of obviously working smart. But as I get older, I just started realizing that it's about, I think my environment at the time I was young, see my dad work as hard as he did and still encouraging me to work smarter than he did, and seeing the output, seeing the fruit from his labor. You know, obviously when I go to football, in the football world, you just meet a lot of inspirational people. So it's just like, okay, well, every time I put input into whatever I was doing that I cared about, I always got back output. So it just became pretty sane for me just to be like, okay, well, I just gotta put more effort into this in a smart way. And I know I'll get that back 10 times fold in the future. I just gotta believe in it.
It's like a positive feedback loop. It's just
Yeah.
self-reinforcing.
But it's seeing it from a young age of, okay, we're living in lower end homes, and then seeing my dad and my mom get better jobs, find better friends, find better avenues to work, and seeing our life upgrade to a point where like now my baby brother doesn't even know what I went through. He's just chilling, eating great groceries, air conditioning the crib. The crib is bought in Milton. You know what I mean? Like he's just chilling. He's a suburban kid. Right. So like he's living a complete life that I did when I was eating like vegan
not by choice.
Burgers.
not by choice.
Vegetarian burgers were lit. Nowadays you got Impossible burgers and that thing is fire. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, bro, vegetarian burgers taste like vegetarian burgers and they should be illegal. It's cool. Like illegal, but I'm not buying halal food, bro. Like we're not Muslim, bro. As long as that thing is on sale, we buying it, bro. We Christian as hell, but nah, we got break rules once in a while.
That's hilarious.
In that environment, seeing them hustle, but seeing the fruit of the labor come out in the end, I'm like, okay, well, if my parents can grind through this and they're immigrants, I could definitely do that too.
Yeah, and and those stories and that perspective, I feel like that's where you're able to like pour into the next generation in a form of mentorship and teaching people. So now you have a player representation agency, and it also goes by that moniker that you coined, Sacks for Racks, when you're trying to fight from that rookie deal to get to being one of the top paid players, top paid non-quarterback in the entire league. But it never started as a player agency. So like, what's the origin story there for Sacks for Racks, and like explain to people like just like what it is?
Yeah. So like I was saying in my rookie contract, I was playing really pissed off, to be honest with you. I was just kind of disappointed myself for not being, again, my dad always encouraged me to work smart, not hard. I think that if I were to redo it, I would have possibly deferred my co-op term to another time and just focus all on combine. But, you know, you live in hard. But for me, Sacks for Racks, I just got into a point where my contract, I was just pissed at my situation. I was like, I lost a lot of money. I could have went a lot higher in the draft. But there's no time to really sit in that sadness. I got to just push through it. So be writing on my wrist tape every game. And as a rookie, I would get a lot of like anxious butterflies before a game, just because I'm just trying to remember all the plays, making sure that like, and I was just part of a good roster, man. I was part of Mondo Sewell, Odell Willis, Philip Plant coming from the Philadelphia Eagles. So it's Mondo Sewell, Odell Willis, Philip Plant, Euclid Cummings coming from, and he had a great season that year. Daquan Bowers, a legend from Clemson.
Euclid and me both had a tryout with the Minnesota Vikings, I believe, in 2015. Yeah. Small world.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Euclid. He's a cool dude. We just had I was the only Canadian on that D line, the only Canadian, and we had Marcus Howard. We just had an amazing D line, like a D line that literally like their sacks would, like they're all like there's 7 of us. Like we had over probably close to like 700 sacks, like a lot of sacks, like on their career, all of them. So I just had an opportunity to feed off of them. But yeah, so I was like, hey, well, I want to be like them and I want to get out of this contract. So I just wrote Sacks Rocks on wrist tape. And then I think my second year in the league, I decided, okay, let me put this into a digital form. Because a lot of people like the name, what I was saying, or what they see on my wrist tape. So then I opened an IG account. Literally anyone, high school, elementary school, whatever it may be, send me your sacks. So a kid will send me their sack. They'll be in like high school grade 9. It's a lame sack, but it's a sack. You know, we're celebrating. And I'll post it, and then it just garnered attention, garnered a community of pass rushers. Fast forward to where I become the highest paid non-quarterback. COVID hits. Like, okay, well, it's garnered a lot of organic attention on social media. I think at TikTok at that point, we already hit like 5K followers at that point, and now we're at like 22, 23K. But it just kind of kept on pushing on. Let me take this from digital to physical atmosphere. and ran camps. So I ran my first camp in Edmonton. The following year, I made it into a tour across Canada. And then last year, we went to West Africa, Ghana, Accra, Ghana, where I'm originally from, and ran a camp there. And then I ended up tearing my Achilles. And then I'm like, okay, well, I got to start finding ways. How can I formulate this brand into something that's greater than just a camp? Because, like camps don't make a lot of money. A lot of the time, camps are just a way for you to increase your brand awareness, but more importantly, just give back to people that look like us, and if not, people that are also interested in the sport. So I'm like, okay, well, it's mainly a nonprofit. I'm not really trying to sell clothing out of it. I had gear that was custom, but I would kind of just gift it to people. Like you got let's say Charles Hughes, he had a 4-sack game. I mailed him a package of Saxrax gear. And it's just more so about putting the right people in place to just rock the gear. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do with the brand at first. I just knew that I was passionate about the brand. And I knew that in marketing, it's all about the story. And I already had a very good, honest, organic story behind Saxrax. Then you fast forward to 2023, hurt my ankle in camp. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm on for to just retire. I'm like, I've dealt with enough injuries so far, and I think I've done everything I want to do in the league. I came in underrated. I was around a lot of great superstars that taught me a lot. Had the opportunity to start my second year of my career, and I just blew off from that. I just made money. I made the money on the field. I made sure I invested that back into my businesses. So when it came down to when I popped my Achilles, hurt my ankle the next year, both in training camp, popped my Achilles in training camp in Ottawa, hurt my ankle in Hamilton, I was like, okay, well, I always told God that if I got a concussion, I'll retire. I never got a concussion, but I popped Achilles and a hurt ankle, and that's enough sign. So I just said, okay, sat down, I'm like, hey, am I financially okay with just retire right now? I don't think anyone's really financially okay to retire from ball, especially as ball is getting more and more lucrative. But it just came down to a point where what's the point of me always honing in on being a student athlete if I'm never going to be okay with transition to just being a student and dropping an athlete? Or if I always encourage these young youth to pass that baton to the next man, which is just themselves more evolved, and if I'm not willing to pass that baton myself, then how can I ever be someone that could speak on that, right? And I didn't want to have, and there's nothing wrong with athletes that decide to play that full length. It's just for me, I was like, shoot, this is our one capsule. This is our one entity that we can kind of roam this earth in. And I want to hustle in a body that's strong enough where, I don't want to lose that ability. So for me, I just said, okay, well, it's time for me to retire. And at that time, I'm sitting on maybe 3 brands at that time. It's Blackside Properties, my finance company, and then Saxrax. And then I'm like, all right, I like Saxrax. What could we do with this? So now I'm like, okay, let me develop this, thought it through. All right, I'm going to train this to a sports agency. I'm going to represent only pass rushers. And then I go work with Wolf Laurier University, where I went to school. They hired me on as a pass rush consultant. They paid me through my brand, my business, right? So I'm not employed. I'm a consultant for them, all through my brand. And then throughout that time, as much as I'm coaching up the pass rushers, whether it be D linemen or linebackers, I'm meeting O linemen, I'm meeting quarterbacks, I'm meeting wide receivers like Braden Thorne, Taylor Ilgersma. I'm meeting these men, and they're like, I don't really care that says Saxrax. If you're willing to represent me, I don't really care. I just want to work with you. And I started meeting more and more people that aren't just pass rushers, that really like the brand. And then I'm like, hey, well, this is something that might be very tangible. And at first I had confidence in the brand, but it was very niche down. And the more I met them, I'm like, okay, well, maybe it doesn't have to be too niche down. So then over the course of the season, by the end of the season, I decided, okay, well, Saxrax, first off, is not a sports agency, it's a sports management group. Or if you want to be detailed, in sports management firm. And the way it becomes a firm, it's in the sense that my finance company, before I said Blackside Properties, my finance company is Saxrax. I kind of dispelled, or I'm going to close my finance company by the end of this year, and I just combined it with Saxrax. So now, let's say if I get someone like you, Courtney, let's say if you're a pass rusher, I'm able to consult you on the field as a pass rush consultant. Hopefully, I meet you in high school or university. You go pro, I'm able to be your agent but I'm not just the guy that's going to get you not only negotiation and new contracts, etc. I'm going to help you get brand partnerships as you blow up and be the brand that you know you can be. And during the off seasons, I'm doing your tax preparation. You start a small business, I'm able to do your bookkeeping, and I'm also be able to do your financial consulting in terms of like, hey, quick, what do you think about? I'm thinking of either lease this car or finance this car. And we do a cost benefit analysis on this. You feel me? So one person, according to Stevens, right? According to Stevens, I can have one person and he can give me multiple streams of income. Instead of the current regime, which is what's available when I was looking for agents, just an agent that's just going to give you contract negotiation or contract advisory, nothing else. You feel me? And I'm like, hey, well, that's cool. But like, and they would argue that, well, the CFO, there's not enough money for you to just have a few clients. I'm like, I respect that. I get that. Because even at the new minimum at 75K, that's only $2,250 on a 3% commission. That's not much. But if that one person you can do your contract advisory, consult them on the field, do the tax preparation, do their bookkeeping, right? Do their financial coaching. That just opens a plethora of different services that you can offer them. And they're going to go with you because they know you best. Mm-hmm. So I kind of went from niching it down to just people that can get sacks for apps. To a point where now when I signed Evan Onsu, and our most recent sign is Avery out of Southern Oregon, also both of them are Canadians. They just opened up a new atmosphere for the brand. It's sacks for acts is mainly for the pass rushers. And then we have no sacks for acts. And then we have, which is a play on sacks for acts, obviously. And then we have SFR Sports Management, which is just the $ currency symbol, the Swiss franc currency symbol, and the rupee currency symbol. Again, all falling underneath the business called the umbrella, but for my brand, I call it underneath that golden briefcase.
So you're looking at the total person. Like
100%.
that's what I'm hearing, whereas I find like a lot of advice, and I kind of had a conversation like this with my agent, Darren Gill. Love Darren, still got him on speed dial. He doesn't even know that. But like we had a conversation once and it was about similar things. I told him like, Darren, you do great work for me, but we negotiate only every, 3 years or so. So like, what else can we do? Like in the meantime? And he blessed me. Like, he's like, I'm going to send you 2 books that are just going to change everything. I don't know if that's exactly what he said, but that's what happened. Like, he sent me 2 books that I read on like personal branding. And really from there, that's when I didn't necessarily think of us becoming a content creator, but that's when I first started publishing content. I read Jab, 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 Right Hook, and he sent me the Thank You Economy. And then after that, I went out and I got Crush It. And I read those 3 books, and I've been publishing ever since. But I just say all that to say, the agent who can do more than just negotiate a contract has a competitive advantage in an area where most agents can't. They're not even fit to give advice on whether that's personal finance, whether that's tax compliance, whether that's bookkeeping, whether that's on the field skill development and technique. And that's because they specialize. So that forces them into a corner where they have to have a huge roster. And if you're not in the NBA, NFL, NHL, you need a huge roster for that to be your primary bread and butter. So I think it makes sense on both sides, what you just explained, in that it's a more viable business and you're taking care of the athlete in a way that they never been taken care of before. And I can't see why somebody wouldn't find value in that.
Yeah. And that's what I'm starting to find. And I think that it really hits home when I get interviewed with the mom, right? And often it's the mom that makes the ultimate decision, but the mom just asks me what really separates you. And I'm just like, well, you're getting someone that went through the ups and downs of being a pro athlete. Literally, like, normally I was ranked high, fell, went back up, then fell, popped my Achilles. You know what I mean? I went through all of the, I personally think all the phases that you can. Went to NFL mini camps, went to workouts, all that stuff that I think a Canadian player would potentially go through in the football world. I already went through that. And then I think the cherry on top is just the fact that I got my finance background that just helps solidify the other avenues of the business.
Yeah. So speaking about finance, because that's a passion of mine. Little known fact that I also have a little bit of a finance background. Yours yours is much more, I don't know if it's much more formal, but it's a different path. Like I took the Canadian securities course. You got a finance degree.
Yeah, counting. I mean, yeah, I think we're different in the sense that you're more so
Wealth management.
Yeah, you're more financial. I would say I'm accountant.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
more
you got to know numbers. You got to know
Yeah,
the language of money. So, what are some of the basic tenets that you feel a professional athlete, especially a young professional athlete, needs to understand about personal finance? Now, I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but like you bring a guy in, he gets his first contract done, and
Yeah.
now you want to make sure that he doesn't blow this thing. Like, and especially we're talking about people who are making not $1 million.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, look, I would love to make 200. I never cracked 200 when I was playing. The most I made was not 200, but the money that you make, you still got to find a way to stretch it as long as it can go, make it last. So what are some of the things that you're teaching these guys?
Yeah, and at first I don't even think it's about the money, to be honest with you. Like, if you make 150, like you could run through that faster than a guy that's making 50K. You know what I mean? I really think it's just, it doesn't really matter. I think the older I get, the more I realize that I can make anything work. As long as you have a good habit set and a good vision of what you want to do in the future, you should be able to make any dollar work for you. Obviously, you got a kid, wife, et cetera. Those things kind of impede your ability to make your own decisions. But for the most part, when I teach these young guys, even before I became an agent, when I was playing, it's like, okay, where's your debts? First off, like let's not even talk about investing and all that. And that's why I don't even bother getting like securities license or any of that, because I'm not really trying to be an investment advisor or any of that. I'm more trying to build your foundation. Do you have a foundation? Why are you worried about stocks and Google and Uber? Who cares, bro? You got debt, you got a car loan, you got all these other things, bro. Worry about that. That's eating away at your returns. You know what I mean? Who cares if you're making 6% ROI when you got 10% or 23% credit card debt? That don't even matter. Don't even net out. And that's up to negative. You feel me? So that's why I think my accounting background helps, because in accounting, it's not even about the fancy stuff. It's about all that little detail stuff that no one really cares about. It's that foundation. So if I got someone like yourself, Courtney, you're coming in brand new from university, first I would ask you, okay, student debt. A lot of people say, well, my student debt is 0% right now. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Do you ever want to buy real estate in the future? Because then now your debt to equity ratio is going to start looking lopsided if you have a whole bunch of debt in your school, regardless of whether it's 0% interest or not. Right? So you got to ask yourself how far, again, it's all about your vision. Where do you want to go? If you don't really care about real estate, all that, then that doesn't really matter. But for me personally, I want to know, okay, what debts do you have? I mean, I kind of have like 10K credit card debt. However, we got to squash that. So as soon as you get 5 game checks, each game check's about 2K, you get 5 game checks for paying off a credit card debt. If I want to go out, no. Let's pay off that credit card debt. You feel me? Let's pay it off the credit card debt. Okay, when that's done, okay, what's next? Well, I got my student loan. I got this little Mazda 6 that I bought. All right, bet. How much left on that car? No. What's the interest rate? 7%. All right, bet. How much left is on that? 5K. All right, let's pay that off. Because 7%, you pay off that 5K left. That 7% is really 7% back in your pocket. Because every month you're paying 7% divided by 12 on that car loan. So if you just pay off that car loan, in my head, for me personally as an accountant, I'm looking at it as I just gained an investment of 7%. You feel me? Because instead of me spending 7% on an annual basis on debt, I'm now taking that away. So the way I put 7% back in my pocket, that's how I see it.
And that's guaranteed return.
It's guaranteed. You feel me? Unlike when people say, well, my interest is 7%, I'm going to invest in stocks and you get 8%. Yeah, in the perfect world, yeah. Well, it's technically 7. Of course, 10 years, you can get average of about 7%. A lot of volatile stuff happened between that time. And are you disciplined to always put your extra residual money back into that 7% portfolio over the course of 10 years? Most people aren't disciplined. So let's be blunt and just say, dude, I don't really believe that you'll be able to be committed to that. But I do believe that if you pay off this car note, there's no question whether you're going to get back that 7%. You're just going to save that. So from the get-go, I'm not even about all that fancy stuff where like, let me get you into this mutual fund. Let me get you into this. Hey, bro, I'll let other people. I'll let you go to other people to get paid for that. I don't want that commission. You know what I mean? I'm more so focused on just creating a foundation so you can't get mad at me. You can only get mad at me for like, man, I've been messing with Kwaku Boateng for too long. I got no money for fun stuff. But your debt took me. You feel me? You're sitting more comfortable. You're breathing a bit more comfortable. So to answer your question, when you join me, I'm more so about, let's eliminate the debts. And once you finish that debt, now let's create a budget. So if you think that you can live off of like 3K, everything included, all your monthly expenses on a monthly basis, 3K, all right, we're going to stick with 3K as your budget. You don't go over that. So at the end of every month, we go through your credit card statement, your checking statement, whatever it may be. We just tally up your expenses. We put them in categories. So you can visually see that, I spent $700, no, let's say $1,500 of my 3K budget for this month on entertainment, whether that's going to the club, whether that's taking out a pretty girl or whoever out, whatever it may be, that's part of your entertainment fee. Then groceries is like $200, and then like gas is $500. So we sit back and look at those numbers like, why are we spending $200 in groceries but we're spending nearly $2K on entertainment? We could just shift literally $1,000 in groceries and your entertainment will shrink down because you're not going out to spend it for $30, right? And now you spend that $30 on groceries that can last you a week. So over a course of literally 6 months, you're drastically going to change your financial landscape because one, you're paying off your debt. So now the money that comes in is not being fed to other like avenues. Your debt's gone. So once your debt's gone, now you can think about, okay, how can I create a habit where my money that's coming in, I'm able to save some and pay off my current expenses. So I don't go back into debt. I don't overspend. So I don't go back into debt. And once I create that habitual setting for my clients, now it's about, okay, do it on your own.
Yeah.
And the better that you get, the more you get better at doing it yourself, the more you're like, oh, for me to get this PS5 or PS4, new one's PS5, bro?
Yeah,
PS5.
PS5.
I'm old, bro. For me to get this PS5 is going to cost me $800, but I know that if I save $200 for the next 4 months, I can do it. You can think like that because now you know what your burn rate is. You've been tallying up your expenses, so you can make those future expenses happen. All you got to do is budget for it now.
Yeah, you build.
Well, I got 20K in the bank. I can buy whatever I want. 6 months go by, that 20K go down to 10, 5K. You're like, oh, where did my money go?
Yeah.
Go.
So to answer your question, it's mainly when you come to me, I'm not really giving you financial tips. I'm more looking at it from an accounting standpoint. And accounting is, let's get all the useless debt out, unless if it's really 0%. But even then, like, let's get that debt out. Get the debt out. Let's create a habitual setting for you so you can know where your money is coming in and out. And then once you do that, you'll understand why Nipsey Hussle is always about all money in, no money out. Because you'll start realizing, whoa, you see your progress. Oh, I'm down to 500 and save it. I spent $1,000 on groceries. You know what I mean? And now my net burn is only 2,500 now. It used to be 3K. So you just start learning these new ways of how to see your money and the language behind it. Mm-hmm. And then once you establish that, then my next conversation is about less and best.
Oh, hold up. Ooh, all money in, no money out. Man.
Shout out to Nipsey, bro.
Shout out. Nipsey taught us so much, but I love that. And when I think about what you're explaining, I visualize for people who would be like, man, why would I pay somebody to be like my financial coach? But I picture it the same way as going to the gym. Like, yeah, you could go to the gym by yourself. But when somebody is there, like, all right, today's workout is 12 reps of this, 10 reps of this. We're doing 3 sets of everything. At the end, we're going to burn out, blah, blah, blah. The results come from having a strict plan. And until you learn a methodology that you can replicate on your own, the results are hard to get as well. So I think when you break it down like that, I can easily see why that's something I would sign up for, man. Yeah, that's good. We might talk after this. Okay, so Black Star Properties. We're talking about investing, and I can't help but ask, man, you've already given us so many gems, but I feel like this one is a serious life changer. How did you get into real estate, and like how is a way that these guys can dip their toe into real estate? Because it's not that you just said like you invest yourself. You got Black Star Properties. What is that? And how can somebody who's looking to get into real estate get started?
So I'm investing in my own business, my own self. That's going well with sack traps. Football's going well. And I'm like, all right, bet. COVID hits. And then I'm like, all right. At that time I had this, I'm in Edmonton because in 2020 was the first year I decided to stay the year round. And then I'm like, and at that time I had a long-term girlfriend and I was like, yo, I gotta make a decision here. And for some odd reason, I'm having a calling and it's crazy. It's crazy. But I was like, for some reason, I want to be in Edmonton. And that's what I'm saying. It's crazy. Yeah, I know. I'm like, for some odd reason, I'm like, yo, there's something that's calling me to be here. And my girl's like, nah, like, you tripping. Like, come back. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's been playing football too long. You know, he's got to protect his head and shit. Because I'm like, nah, like, there's something that's calling me to stay in Edmonton. And I already have my new contract, like, not a written contract, so I can afford to go back. All of that. He's like, man, there's something that's calling me to be here. So I'm like, you know what? I have mad love and respect for her always. You know what I'm saying? By that time, I'm like, no, I gotta, again, like I said before, I tell my athletes, you gotta realize that this is your finite time to be selfish. So if you have no wife or no kids, the only one time that you could be selfish without any guilt. You feel me? So at that time, I just had some type of call and I was like, yo, Kwaku, don't go back to Ontario. There's this hustle here for you. I didn't know what it was. I thought maybe it was just appearance money, whatever. So I stay in Edmonton. I'm paying $1,600 at a spot in Edmonton at a spot, 2-bedroom, a nice crib. I like it. COVID hits. I'm like, damn, this football stuff might never come back. And if it does come back, I'm not going to be I'm not going to be sitting here broke. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting in my condo and I'm paying $1,600. So I'm like, you know what? I got some cheddar. And his interest rates are falling every day. And then I'm like, all right, let me go find a real estate agent. I found a real estate agent. Off some like others. Like I was gonna be a boss and just say, no, I'm just gonna do my own real estate agent stuff. I'm gonna save some bad. I was gonna do it all myself. I did the research. So I go look at one condo downtown and I meet my future real estate agent. And he's like, you doing this by yourself? I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, I got no competition. I'm driving down the street. And this time I have a new car. I have a Jeep SRT at this time. I'm driving this.
So you went from a Mazda 6 to a SRT?
Yeah. But the Mazda 6 got rear-ended. Or else I would have kept it. Yeah, I would have kept it. I don't want to lose my financial accountant frugalness brand. I don't want to lose that. But I got rear-ended. You feel me? So that's why I had to upgrade. I'm like, the guy's telling me to upgrade. So I'm driving. So I'm driving around in the black SRT with the desert interior, like a typical African. And the streets are just empty. It's ghost town. You feel me? So I have no competition. So I pull up this condo, I look around, like, I like this. It's like, yo, who's your representative? I'm like, I don't got one. I'm good, bro. Like, oh, you're tripping. Like, bro, let me help you out. He shows me around. He finds me his one condo in a boutique setting. It's like a 6-floor condo. Okay. Beautiful. Like, what's called marble washroom, like the side, the floor, everything. This is a nice crib. Selling for hella cheap. There's a foreclosure. Boom, I buy that. And he becomes my real estate agent. I buy that, boom. Because at this point, I'm like, yo, my mortgage, my condo fee, my utilities, all that included is sub $1,200 at a time or sub $1,100. Yeah. All that, sub $1,100. And I'm putting 5% down on this property. You feel me? So like 95% of the property is leveraged. And I'm still 1,100 short. I'm 1,100 total. That's why I brought up where I'm living right now, where at that time in 2020, I'm living in a condo, 2-bedroom for $1,600. So I'm like, yo, this is a no-brainer. So as soon as he found me that deal, it was a foreclosure, I'm like, say less, bro. Sold, bought it. So then I wait a month, move out, go to my new condo. There's some repairs I had to do because of foreclosure. I do myself. I get a new door, I paint it, blah, do myself. And I'm only mentioning this because everyone talks about foreclosure, blah, blah, blah. Just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's a good investment. You got to realize why you're getting into it yourself. For me at that time, it was COVID, interest rates are low. I'm renting out a place in Edmonton at $1,600 when I can own one for $1,100 as much sexier. A 1-bedroom plus den, marble flooring, sub penthouse, a nice crib downtown Oliver area, which would be kind of like a Liberty Village here in Toronto area. So you're not downtown, but you're Liberty Village where it's chiller. It's suburb version of downtown of Edmonton. So I copped that crib. I fixed up little things. There was like the bin was like lime green, painted it a different color. Like those are the things you got to do if you're going to buy a crib that's foreclosure or a deal. Ain't no bougie crib that's going to be a deal. You got to hustle a bit. And I get that crib. It's my first taste into real estate. I'm sitting in the crib. I got a little furniture set up nice and sexy the way I like. I'm chilling. I'm like, yo, interest rates keep falling. And I'm looking outside and I'm like, it's still a ghost town. I'm like, yo. And I don't know when football's going to come back. So I'm like, all right, screw it. And I'm looking at my car. And at that time, again, going back to me being frugal, and that's my financial model or my brand. I'm like, man, I got like over 100K in this car, cash, sitting there. I may as well sell that. As much as I love that car, it was one of my dream cars. I know I'm going to sell that. So I sold that car and I bought it, a fourplex near the stadium. And that fourplex just opened my mind. I'm like, damn, I wish I never bought this condo. I wish I just went straight to a fourplex. But the condo helped put that bug in me and allowed me to have a home base. And if you guys know anything about taxes, Alberta is the lowest taxed province in the country. So me being able to have a home base in the lowest tax place is that allows me all my businesses, all my personal endeavors, I'm getting taxed in Alberta. You feel me? Because that's where I'm from. I'm just here for work. If cop pulls me over, I'm here for work. You feel me? Like, I don't really, like, that's the thing that, and I don't want to sound like I'm bringing color into it, but as people that look like me, we got to realize that there's game within the game. And there always will be. You feel me? Even when you play a little Super Mario game on your Wii, there's little side hustles that you side missions, side quests that you can, or faster ways where you go down that little green tunnel shit. You know, there's little ways where you can get to the finish line faster. So for me, I'm like, all right, bet the condo, smart shit. Oh, I'm looking at my car. I love this car. But at 1% interest rate, I got to take this. So I sell the car, get all my cash back. At that time, I actually made a profit because car values were just so high because you can get the chips, you can get a lot of these models. Because again, mind you, it's still 2020. You feel me? I bought a condo in June 15th of 2020. I'm sitting in it. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to sell my car. By the end of that year, I sell my car and I buy a fourplex January 2021. I closed on that deal in 2021. They were asking for that property $100,000 more than what I got it for. And the reason I was able to drop it down to that point is because, again, I'm like, well, it's just me. Like, you know what I mean? It's just me, buddy. You know what I mean? It's just me and my real estate agent. We're pulling up and we're driving down the street and it's just ghost town. No one's there. Everyone's still buying toilet paper for their cribs. To protect themselves. I'm like, man, if I'm gonna die, at least I'm gonna die rich. That's what 50 Cent taught me. I mean, you either get rich or die trying. I'm like, shoot, I'm gonna die trying. I don't care about COVID. I'm gonna die trying. You feel me? So I'm driving, pull up there. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna cop that crib. So I instantly sold my car, sold it within like 6 days. Bought that property, and I'm like, yo, I'm fully hooked. And the part that people need to remember is that real estate is the easiest thing to, not easiest thing to buy, but the easiest thing to do is to buy that real estate. You really got to sit back and ask yourself why you want to buy it. Again, my condo, I bought it just so I could buy it. Being a home that's cheaper than what I'm paying for $1,600 at a time. And that place I was paying for $1,600 is like 30 minutes away from downtown. So I'm like, this is no brainer. I buy the fourplex and sell my Jeep SRT, become like interest rates are low. And this will give me enough money in the next 5-10 years to buy that twice if I wanted to. You feel me? So I'm like, all right, let me just sell my Jeep SRT, buy this fourplex. And that's when I started in the real game of real estate. If you go in the multifamily, at least, it's the managing part. The managing part is the part that makes you want to just say, you know what, it's not worth it, bro. Like, I'm cool with just being, just not even venturing off into real estate. You know what I mean? Because it's just a headache dealing with a lot of tenants and dealing with, especially in that neighborhood that I bought it. It's near the stadium. So it's very similar to, I always compare Edmonton to Hamilton. That helps the audience. Edmonton is just Hamilton out west. That helps in visually. So with that being said, property management became an issue because the prior owner didn't really care about what tenants they had. As long as they came in and gave them some sort of rent, it was cool. Me, I'm like, no. I'm very sergeant-like. So I'm like, all right, you're late on rent? Boom, eviction notice. I'm not playing games. You feel me? Like, I'm not playing no game. And over time, it just allowed me to garner certain attention, and Black Star Properties just garnered really an authoritative attention in terms of, well, we're not really going to mess with Kwaku or Black Star Properties, right? And when I bought that real estate at first, it was just me kind of prancing around, and it was always a Kwaku Boateng is renting this to you. And I'm like, man, like, I got to create a mask so it's not just me dealing with all this. You know what I mean? Eventually, I don't want to be the property manager, but I still wanted to be in my possession. So that's how Black Star Properties evolved. But when I bought the condo, it was more so a place for me to chill in. I buy the fourplex after I sell my RST. I'm like, well, this is kind of interesting. It's really a business. It's not really investing. You know what I mean? If I want to invest, I'm better off just getting a condo and like an expensive condo in Toronto, renting out to one person, waiting 10 years or a few years and selling. Or buying stock and holding it and selling eventually. You know what I mean? But multifamily is more so a business. Like it's legitimately a business, bro. So once I realized that, I'm like, okay, let me create an entity where I'm not always the forefront. And that's how Black Star Properties came about. And then once I did that, I'm like, I feel more confident. So again, at this point, I already sold my car. I'm driving around like a 2004 Toyota 4Runner, beat up. The back is rusted out. The front glass has a chip in it. In Alberta, that's just common to have your windshield kind of cracked up. So I was fitting in. And then that just allowed me to kind of like just be more confident and put all my resources and energy into real estate. So I went and bought a duplex, and then I went and bought another fourplex at the end of 2021. So from a point of view, it's 2020 June. I bought my condo. By the end of the year, I'm like, yo, this kind of lucrative, and interest rates are really low, and I have no competition. Go buy my fourplex early 2021. Buy the duplex April 2021, and then 2021's football season comes in July or something. I play that season. Again, I'm the highest paid non-quarterback. Take that money, I go buy another fourplex in Alberta. So within this time frame of maybe 2 years, I go from 0 units to over 11 units, or just at 11 units. And I'm just sitting on it, managing it. And I actually just got back from Edmonton just yesterday, actually. So I'm still kind of jet lagged because one of my tenants decided to not pay rent, and I had to go through the eviction process or not. But that's part of the game, and you're gonna lose some money. Like, you're definitely gonna lose some money here and there, but you gotta look at it, like I said from the very beginning of this conversation, is what's your focus, what's your goal? And for me, it's not about just buying. Again, in Ontario, you can buy a condo, hold it for 6 months, especially during that time, 2020, 2021, sell it, and you make some money. I'm like, no, I kind of want this to be an opportunity for me to build my future wealth and also be my pension plan. I don't really believe in RSPs and all that. Like, why would I lock my money away and only have select avenues where I can pull it out without getting a penalty, whether I'm going back to school or buying a first-time home? Why would I do that to myself? If I could put it into real estate, I get depreciation, all these other tax opportunities. And importantly, I have the golden goose and I got the eggs every month, right? And now allows me to constantly be, again, the property management aspect is the strongest piece. And I think that's the piece that kind of allows me to be confident enough years later to sit back in my current condo here in Oakville and be like, nah, it's time for me to retire. Because instead of me just looking at my real estate as an investment portfolio, I said, instead of me paying another dude 10 to 20% of my gross revenue just to manage it, because even if Courtney's my property manager, he's going to call me, like, hey, man, this girl hasn't paid, this door's messed up, this window's broken, it's going to cost you this much to fix it. I'm still feeling that anxious feeling as if I was managing myself. So I was like, I may as well manage myself. You know what I mean? There's the only difference that I got to do the management in terms of, okay, every semi-annual, I got to make sure the gutters are clean, or I got to make sure the furnaces or the boiler room is serviced on an annual basis. So it becomes more of a lifestyle of who you are. But I think if you're making 10K on your properties a month, you pay someone else that 10%, $1,000, $2,000 and 20%, that adds up. Within a year, you're paying someone else over 20K for something that, if you can do it yourself, is way better. And I managed those properties while playing pro pro football after getting all those properties. And it's not hard. It's just more so you have to create very, 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 very solid system. And one of my systems is just, I don't take no BS. So I'd rather leave a crib empty for a few months, which sucks, but so I can find that tenant that respects the property, respects me enough to know that, yo, we're not playing your rent. We need our rent money. I'm Christian and all, but we need our rent money. And then on top of that, it's like, yo, we're going to make sure that we find people that are like you in all of our other units. So now all you guys cohesively will work together. It's not like we got a drug addict upstairs and a beauty queen in the main floor and then engineer in the basement. Like we got people that all alike, so they can all kind of relate to each other. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's kind of the importance of when you get into real estate. Don't get hung up on just saying, yo, I just want to be able to tell my boys that I have real estate. No, that will end you very soon. You want to be able to say, well, I need real estate because one, what I'm paying for now in rent doesn't make sense to go buy. Okay, that's cool. Or it's like, yo, I kind of have a long-term plan on being in multifamily space. So I want to start with a duplex and see how I like it. That's smart. That's cool. But at the end of the day, you always want to have a reason for buying that real estate. You just don't want to buy it, just say, well, I see Kwaku Boateng buy a duplex. I'm going to buy a duplex. I'll be successful. But you got to realize that I bought all that real estate. I took all my money from playing ball at that time, put into real estate. So by the time I was done my purchases, I'm not sure if you guys, you probably have seen the Avengers when I forgot what's the main protagonist, no, the main antagonist, where he puts all the stones in
Thanos.
Thanos, and he's just sitting. He sits down. That's me at the end of 2021 after buying all that real estate.
Like, job done.
The job is done.
And then I'm like, and I tell my big bro this story. He's like, bro, how? And I'm like, it's not about how. It's just my why. I just was like, yo, this is my one opportunity, potentially, where interest rates are so low that my little money that I made from the CFL, if I push it all into this endeavor now, it'll provide me revenue in the future. And as I look at these properties, detail, again, I'm an accountant, so I'm looking at the net operating income. I'm looking at the expenses. I'm looking at the ratios. I'm making sure that it makes me enough money to cover my expense, even if the property's half full.
Yeah.
I'm not buying if it doesn't beat the 1% rule. And at that time, and the audience gotta know that, like, I'm dealing with a different atmosphere. I'm dealing with COVID, and I'm dealing with an underdeveloping market like Edmonton, all at the same time. So it's like, it's already depressed because it's up north. And now talk about COVID hits it over. Yes. So like it's depressed as hell right now at that point when I'm buying this real estate.
It's perfect opportunity.
Perfect opportunity. And there's no one else balls enough to go out in the streets and look at these rental properties because it's COVID.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm driving, the roads are empty. Yeah. There's no zombies. Even the homeless and the drug addicts aren't on the streets. Nobody's on the streets. Like, we're in Edmonton right now.
So the moral of that one is, like, when you see an opportunity, you really just got to capitalize on it. Yeah.
Not to. And like for me, I was scared because, you know, on the sequel, we don't make enough money. But like, I just told myself, okay, let me sell this car. I'm cool with being in a little 2004 4Runner.
Yeah.
But all the money, literally, Courtney, bro, and then your audience, literally before the 2021 season in July, maybe a week before that, I was riding on $3K cash in my account. Yep. 3K cash in my account. So I had enough money my car was paid off. My 4Runner was paid off, obviously, because 2014. The day I sold my cheap SIT, I hopped into Uber, went to the new guy that was selling the 4Runner, bought that cash. I needed wheels. Like
you really went, you put all your chips in on this.
Hold up. I had 3K cash 2 weeks before camp, and I pulled up to camp in my Toyota 4Runner.
Wow.
I pulled up to camp in my Toyota 4Runner, and then I'm like, yeah, this is my life.
Wow.
And I just kind of kept it low key. People just thought, yo, quick, you fell off. Like, why did you roll in the 2004 Toyota 4Runner? And I was kind of just, you know, I'm still kind of skeptical of sharing my story because, you know, people be pocket watching. I'm broke. They want to broke. I'm broke. But for me, it was just like, yeah, bro, I'm pulling up and I got like 3K cash in my account.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know, and obviously it helps that football's come in and give me some paper, but
yeah,
I was confident enough to take that jump. And it just came down to, again, it's just, I want to really reiterate that just because I bought duplex or fourplex doesn't mean every fourplex duplex is gonna make you bags. No, you gotta remember I bought my assets at depressed value because of COVID, and a lot of risk is to that. Like if you're gonna go buy a duplex here in Ontario or GTA, you're gonna benefit from the fact that other people will respect the value of property in GTA. In Edmonton, if I were to sell my assets right now, it's going to take me, one, a long time to sell it, and maybe not everyone's going to value the property as much as I do. So I might lose money if I sell all of them now. So now I'm handcuffed. I got golden handcuffs. As much as I talk about that golden hand I have that shoots out golden eggs for me every month, if I ever want to get rid of that hand, it's going to be hard to get rid of that hand.
Well, yeah, you can call me if you ever need to get rid of that thing. But hey, Kwaku, man, I feel like we're gonna definitely when we fire up the MVP community, we're gonna need you to do a masterclass for us on this real estate. And also, I feel like just in general, you've got a lot of gems in, like, from the personal finance stuff to the personal branding. There's just a lot that I appreciate you really just breaking it down and being so transparent with us, because people are going to walk away with a lot from this episode. So appreciate it. Oh, now hold up. I almost forgot the most important question of all. Who are your 3 favorite athletes of all time?
LeBron James. LeBron James for sure.
Jimmy's heart is warm. He's like, got another one.
Samoa Gyan. He's a striker for Ghana.
So you're a soccer head.
Oh, big soccer head. The only reason why I stopped
get this guy started.
Okay, we'll have to have another episode.
The only reason why I stopped playing soccer stuff too aggressive, but it would be LeBron James, Samoa Gyan. So LeBron James, obviously, just because he's really a good image in terms of being great on and off the court or field.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
You don't have to explain it.
And then Samoa Gyan, he scored a pivotal goal against the United States that brought Ghana far in the World Cup. He just did a great job. I don't know. And when I was watching, he was just inspirational. I like how he was a team player. I like how he got swag when he was playing the game, had fun, would dance after a score, a goal, sorry. I just liked his ambiance. And then the third one, that's a good question. The third one, I don't even know. To be honest, but it could probably be Von Miller. And the only reason why I bring up Von Miller is because Von Miller, for the longest time, and for my time personally, he was one of the best pass rushers in the world. And again, his swagger, he just had fun with it. So even Sax Frax has a little DNA from Von Miller in the sense that Von Miller helped me I like how he built his brand and how he made pass rush such an art to a point where, I don't know, he just does it in a cool way. So I would say those 3 would be LeBron James, Samoa Gyan, and Von Miller.
Thank you. And if people wanted to just even like look into Sacks for Racks specifically, or just like connect with you, what's the best way for people to do that?
Honestly, like I look at all my DMs. So if you reach out, a lot of kids reach out, ask me questions, whether it's about finance, football, or real estate. I look at my DMs, my requests. So don't be shy. Hit me up on also my name is Kwaku Boateng. But if you want to be formal with it, I love it if you reach out to me via email, k.boateng@saxfrax.com. But again, I'm pretty open, so just reach out to me on Instagram, whether on my personal or on Sax for Axe, and we'll get back to you for sure. But I appreciate you having me on your podcast. I like the name MVP, so I always wish you the best, brother.